Fortunately, some are born with spiritual immune systems that sooner or later give rejection to the illusory worldview grafted upon them from birth through social conditioning. They begin sensing that something is amiss and start looking for answers. Inner knowledge and anomalous outer experiences show them a side of reality others are oblivious to, and so begins their journey of awakening. Each step of the journey is made by following the heart instead of following the crowd, and by choosing knowledge over the veils of ignorance, and thus begins their journey of illuminating the darkness.
All information presented in this podcast is solely for entertainment purposes and is not the opinions of its producers. No copyright infringement is intended. Hello, my fellow seekers, and welcome back to another edition of Illuminated Darkness. I have to apologize for being away for so long, but between the holidays and some personal issues, I just kind of needed to take a step back and analyze some things and handle some things. And hopefully I got all that under control now and we can get back to doing what we are doing, which is shedding light on things that we sometimes see or hear and know absolutely nothing about. I've noticed over the past several months as I was scrolling through social media, this black cube kept popping up in my news feeds. And I started to wonder, what the hell is this all about? Well, after a lot of digging and research, it is allegedly to call attention to the cult of the black cube or Saturn worship. Now, being a student of religion, I have several books in my personal library that range from Christianity, Judaism, the occult, you name it. And I don't subscribe or practice any one doctrine. So I became really curious. What is this all about? Was this something that only the elite worshipped? Was it something that led back to the Illuminati? Was it a part of the looming New World Order? Was it supposed to be this one world religion that would be spoon fed to us by the Antichrist and we would all follow along blindly? What exactly in the actual hell is it? And with all those questions in mind, I started my quest to find out what this was all about. And just when I thought I had all the information and was ready to go into production, there would be more information. The sheer amount of information and the hours spent compiling it was overwhelming. But, however, I've managed to condense it all down and hash it out to make this episode. So join me as we explore the cult of the Black Cube. The largest black cube that comes to mind is the Black Cube of Mecca, or the Kaaba, and this is located at the center of the Grand Mosque in Mecca, and that is the center of the Islamic faith. In looking further into the Black Cube that kept popping up, I thought, could this be some pro-Muslim thing that people are sharing? And with the current political climate of the Middle East, it wouldn't surprise me. But as it turned out, it wasn't. So what was this all about? It took weeks to research everything, and I'll be honest, in the early stages of my research, I thought, just another fanatical Christian whose God is better argument. Well, if you truly want the answer to that question, ask the English, the Irish, or the Italians. I like to think that I'm not a paranoid person, and I try to be objective when looking at things, but after the 2024 Grammy Awards and all of the symbolism there, maybe there is a lot more going on than meets the eye. Okay, let's begin with some basic science. Saturn is the sixth planet in our solar system characterized by its rings. It's classified as a gas giant, meaning it is totally comprised of gases, hydrogen, helium, etc., etc., etc. Saturn is 886 miles from the Sun and 746 million miles from Earth. And unlike Earth with its one moon, Saturn has about 146 moons, with Titan being the largest. In 1997, NASA launched the Cassini probe to learn more about the ringed gas giant. And in 2017, NASA crashed that probe into the planet. The most memorable aspect of the mission are the images of Saturn's North Pole and its hexagonal-shaped storm. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into that science just because there's a lot of information there as to why that storm is shaped like a hexagon. Okay, now, basic mythology. According to Roman mythology, Saturnus is basically the god of agriculture and time. He looked after the crops and assisted with the growing cycles throughout the year. The Greek influence over Roman thought, Saturnus was gradually equated with Kronos the Titan. Kronos is also the god of time, and I'm beginning to see where they all merge into one entity. Greek myths gave him a nasty habit of eating his own children to keep from being dethroned. Thank you, godjecker.com. So now, how did we go from the god of agriculture and time to the Grim Reaper to Satan and all the bad shit? And to be honest, I don't understand the Grim Reaper connection. Grim Reapers are angels of death. They come and collect the newly disembodied souls. While time is our greatest enemy, none of us can stop it, and death is the final destination that we all have a ticket to. Like it or not, I don't understand the evil aspect of the Reaper. He's just a guy doing his job. Love him, hate him, he's got to eat too, you know? I have a quote here, and I can't rightly remember where I found it, and I didn't note it. But the black cube in Mecca is the occult. In the occult, is called the hypercube. It represents mind control. That is why the TV is black and cube shaped. The graduation hat, also known as an academic cap, graduation cap, mortarboard, or trencher, is a black cube, etc. All mind control. When Muslims walk around it in rings, it is a representation of Saturn's rings. Saturn equals Satanism. That is what you are giving your energy to. Same with Christianity. The cross, when folded up, folds into a cube, more mind control. Same with all religions, all based in Satanism and created by the dark occult. What the fuck? I call bullshit on this one, okay? One big steaming pile of my God is the only God and bestest God of them all. Bullshit. So many people forget that thousands of years ago, Christians were the cult and paganism was the general practice when it came to religion. Take a look at most of the Bible stories. If you dig through ancient religions of the ancient civilizations, Romans, Greeks, Sumerians, Babylonians, Mesopotamians, Egyptian, Aztec, etc., you're going to find all the same stories. The names were changed, the locations were changed, but they are basically the same stories. And let me stress this, because I never stress this enough. I actually do not care what faith you follow, what name you call the supreme power of the universe. Whatever makes you feel good, run with it. As I stated earlier, I have seen a lot of symbolism. Do I believe that a black cloud of evil is sweeping across the land? No, because it has already settled over us. So put that in your juice box and suck it. Now, black cubes can be found scattered around the globe, and throughout media. Physical locations of actual black cubes are the center of the Grand Mosque in Mecca, Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana, and there's a black cube inside the meditation room at the UN. Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana, and the UN, they're all sculptures. The only one that has any type of interior per se is the Kiswa, or the black cube in Mecca. And what is inside it? Well, there are actually 3 pillars that support the roof and several suspended gold and silver lamps. And that's about the extent of the furnishings. As for its exterior, it's actually covered with a giant black cloth. And the Muslims consider this cube to be the house of God. So, why do the pilgrims circle the black cube in Mecca? They walk around it counterclockwise 7 times while reciting prayers, starting and finish at the black stone, which is embedded at the eastern corner of the Kaaba, and this is called the Tawaf. And its purpose is to represent the notion that Muslim lives should revolve around remembering and staying obedient to Allah. By performing the Tawaf, Muslims reinforce the centrality of the spiritual focus that they face while performing their daily prayers. So it's all just their religious practice, or what some people call psychodrama. It's what is needed to get into that frame of mind to be prepared for worship. Now, according to Muslim tradition, the black stone, or tawaf, is, according to Muslim tradition, it dates back to the time of Adam and Eve, and tradition holds that it fell from heaven as a guide for Adam and Eve to build an altar. I do not know enough about the faith to say for certain what it is all about. Another religion we see the black cube in is Judaism, and there is on occasion you'll see followers of the Jewish faith with a black cube literally tied to their head and their arm. And these small boxes are called tefillin, and they're a set of small black leather boxes with leather straps containing scrolls of parchment inscribed with verses from the Torah, and their usage dates back to spiritual commandments in the books of Deuteronomy and Exodus. Faithful followers comply with religious law to bind them as a sign upon your arm. Tefillin are black because, unlike all the other colors on the spectrum, black does not reflect and show any other color. It just absorbs it, as opposed to white, which does reflect the color. So that's its purpose. There again, it is the props. It is the psychodrama. So we've now covered the basic outline of the black cubes and the basic outline of the black cube in 2 major religious practices. But how do all religions lead to being an occult practice? A lot of the information I found was based in the Gnostic belief system. But what is Gnosticism? Gnosticism is a prominent heretical movement from the 2nd century Christian church, partly of pre-Christian origin. Gnostic doctrine taught that the world was created and ruled by a lesser divinity, the demiurge, and that Christ was an emissary from the remote supreme divine being of esoteric knowledge of whom enabled the redemption of the human spirit, whatever actual fuck that's supposed to mean. Gnostics' beliefs closely resemble Orthodox Christian beliefs in structure, but not in content. Gnostics believe in one supreme God who created the world through multiple processes of emanation, which eventually led to the creation of a flawed lesser God who created the flawed material world. In the 3 general beliefs of Gnosticism, Gnostics are taught cosmological dualism, strict ascetism, and repudiation of material creation as evil deceitism and the existence of the divine spark in humans. Okay. Basically, it's the belief that human beings contain a piece of God, the highest God or a divine spark within themselves, which has fallen from the immaterial world into the bodies of humans. All physical matter is subject to decay, rotting, and death. Well, yeah, of course. In the teachings that the world was created by a demiurge or satanic power, Gnostics also associate this with the God of the Old Testament, and that there is a total opposition between this world and God. Okay. According to the Gnostic information, the Abrahamic religions, which are Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, are all Saturn or satanic based religions. Okay. One source stated that this was because of the offerings in the form of a sacrifice. And we all learned in Sunday school a lamb, a calf, a goat, etc., was offering to God, which is, according to the Gnostics, entering a covenant with God. Or, in the Gnostic stream of things, Saturn or Satan. And once again, here we see it's the age old my God is better pissing contest. And again, most of the information I found, other than a couple of resources, really read like an attack on the Jewish faith, even with some of the writers swearing up and down, oh, I'm not anti Semitic. Well, you could have fucking fooled me. In all complete honesty, there really isn't a lot of information about the black cube out there, so it leaves it pretty much open for interpretation. And many suggest that it is a representation of the material world. Isaac Weishaupt of IlluminatiWatcher.com explains that the black cube is a symbol for the Gnostic representation of Saturnian materialism and the false illusion of our world. Okay, I agree with that at some point. One source stated, according to the book The Cult of the Black Cube by Arthur Morose, the Black Saturn Cube represents a prison dimension, but there was no further information on the book, so I went looking for it, and it is available for sale on Amazon. I was able to locate a PDF file, and I'm going to upload it to our site at a later time. There'll be a link to it later on our social media at Facebook. The book itself is broken down into 3 sections. Scholarly materials on Saturn, and this section takes the reader through the Saturn in Islamic texts, Saturn in the classical tradition, and Saturn in Indian traditions. The second section takes the reader to the Saturnian Gnosis. This is the spiritual path. It's an analysis of the Saturnian deity, the interpretation of the Saturnian deity, and then finally the Saturnian path. Now, the final section of the book teaches the reader about the practice of Saturn worship, from setting up a shrine and devotionals and divination to the magic in the sacred times, holidays, offerings, and rituals. So this book is actually no different than any other instructional book that you would find on the pagan religion. But as we have always seen, paganism is automatically associated as satanic, demonic, yada, 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 fuck you. According to the book, the black cube is the idol for Satan. And to quote the book, the Saturnian deity is a remnant of the primordial chaos which was severed from chaos when the cosmos surged into being. So, okay, it's just another pagan religion, no different than Wicca, Satanism, the chaos magic, Luciferianism, the left-hand path, Egyptian magic, what have you. The black cube is simultaneously the prison and the throne of the dark god. Further, the symbol or emblem of the black cube appears in many contemporary art and media projects, often as a symbol of alien menace or something alternative to that. Examples include Clive Barker's Hellraiser cubes, where we see Leviathan itself. Even a Google search for a black cube shows an extensive list of corporations that use the black cube as a symbol, or actually the black cubes that are installed around the world. Other more alarmed minds, or as I call them, a little more paranoid, may have suggested that the prevalence of the black cube phenomena is a subtle indication that the call to the Saturnian deity remains alive and well. Well, who gives a shit? Live and let live. I mean, what the hell? So, we might consider the strange symbol of the black cube For the initiated reader, the cube or obelisk represents the spiritual dimension to which Saturn was banished, the spiritual prison to which the deity is confined. And it is a square or cubic because this is the simplest building known to humanity. And it represents the jail or the cell which holds the fallen king. Now, of course, the black cube is not a literal room in which the deity is trapped. It represents a spiritual plane, a shadow universe, which serves as the Saturnian deity's prison. The ritual act of setting up the black cube as Saturn's idol and calling the deity forth from the idol is symbolic of releasing Saturn from his prison. The reverence and devotion shown to the black cube, or, for example, the Kaaba, as we see in Islam, is symbolic of respect being shown to the Lord who is imprisoned. This being the case, it is reasonable consideration any conspicuous occurrence of the black cube in advertising and promotion, or as corporate symbolism as well, as potentially symbolic of Saturn. And the text really attempted to stress the cult of the imprisonative, secretive god is not a dead cult, especially in India. It has adapted and continues in plain sight. So there's that too. And there you have it. What could be considered as a pagan belief system has been turned into the bad guy because it doesn't conform with the grand scheme of things. As an advertising gimmick, it manages to grab your attention and stick in your mind because it's so off the wall, stupid, or unique. And that's when you are in the store and you see the logo and it just jumps out at you because that advertisement has stuck with you. The symbolism of the award shows, music videos, album covers, it all stuck in your head and remember it. And that's how they sell CDs. That's how they get you to stream the artists. You remember the imagery you saw during the awards show, or you remember that video or reel on YouTube or social media. And when you're surfing through your music service and you see that imagery again, it pops with the artist using it and you recall, hey, I really like that song. You stream the hell out of it, or you download it to your phone through your service that you use to purchase music, or you're walking through the store and you see the CD cover and you end up spending the $15. It's capitalism as its finest. It's shock and awe to separate you from your hard-earned dollars. While we do see some satanic symbolism, Ozzy Osbourne album covers, I rest my case, it's all interpretation. It's all in how you look at things. Just like everything in life, it's all based on how you see it, how you perceive it, how you interpret it. That's all I have for you this time around, guys. I really do apologize for not being as consistent as I should be. My employment could be considered seasonal employment, and that season is coming to an end for me, so it's really crazy time. And there again, I'm the only person doing this. I run the production department and the research department and the music department and the social media department. But if any comments, questions, concerns, topic ideas, shoot me an email at admin@illuminated-darkness.com or contact us through our website at www.illuminated-darkness.com. Love to hear from you. Love to hear your ideas and your input. Join us again next time for another thought-provoking episode. And until we meet again, my friends, keep your eyes and your mind open. And as always, try to stay out of the darkness.